Hello and welcome to the Antiquarian Outlook for week 15 of 2025, starting April 7th. I'm Spencer W. Stuart, Collections Advisor, author of Contemporary Issues in Rare Books and Manuscript Collecting, and host of the monthly webinar, Collecting Insights. For more details on my services, publications, and programs, follow the links below in the description. The Antiquarian Outlook is totally independent. Its producers do not hold inventory, nor do they represent any consignments or acquisitions mentioned. Links to auctions and news items can also be found below in the descriptions. And while you're there, if you want to stay up to date, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on your notifications. Okay, let's get into last week's results. Tuesday, April 8th, saw J.A. Stargardt's Autograph and Manuscript auction. There were 743 lots offered, of which 586 sold, making for a 78.8% sell-through rate. The highest price realized was for lot 678, a handwritten letter with signature by Mozart to his cousin Maria Anna. Estimates set at 120,000 euros to 160,000 euros, realizing the top end of 160,000 euros. A buy-in of note from the sale, lot 134, 25 autograph letters with signatures of Hugo von Hofmannsthal, dated between 1895 to 1907. Estimates were set at just under 19,000 euros to 25,000 euros. There were two lots that exceeded expectation. The first was lot 633, an autograph music manuscript of Frédéric Chopin. There was no place nor date provided, but it's believed to be between 1830 to 31. And estimates were set at 30,000 to 40,000 euros, realizing 110,000 euros. And lot 462, two signed postcards by Carl Schmidt-Rottluff, dated August 11th, 1912. Estimates were set at 262 euros to 350, realizing 4,800. Still with Tuesday, Bonhams completed its online sale. There were 228 lots offered, of which 196 sold, making for an 85.9% sell-through rate. The highest price realized on the day was for lot 25, the first printing of any work by Aristotle and the first printed work of political and economic science, executed in the 15th century. Estimates were set at 80,000 to 120,000 US dollars, realizing 127,500 US dollars. A buy-in of note was lot 90, an autograph letter signed by Richard Stotkin to his brother Samuel Stockton in London on the readiness and resolve of the American people preparing for war, dated 1775. Estimates were set at 80,000 to 120,000 US dollars. And lot 43, George Boole's The Mathematical Analysis of Logic, published in 1847. Estimates set again here at 80,000 to 120,000 US dollars. Two items that exceeded expectation from the sale. Lot 152, a copy of James Joyce's Ulysses published by John Rodker in 1923. Estimates were set at 10,000 to 15,000 US dollars, realizing just below 59,000 US dollars. And lot 152, an item connected to the Townshend Act, a manuscript document signed by more than 60 townspeople, including men and women of Newburyport, Massachusetts, dated April 6, 1770. Estimates set here at 4,000 to 6,000 US dollars, realizing 30,720 US dollars. On to Wednesday, April 9th, ALDE had its Mountain Books and Paintings. There were 253 lots offered, of which 171 sold, making for a 67.5% sell-through rate. The highest price realized was for lot 178, Escudiers, The Edges of the Meiji, published in 1930. Estimates were set at 5,000 to 6,000 euros, realizing 9,125 euros. A buy-in of note, lot 210, Laurie, Lafont, and Zehenders, collection of Swiss landscapes drawn from nature, published in 1797. Estimates set here at 4,000 to 5,000 euros. Most items realized a price within the estimate set by the auction house on this day. Still with Wednesday, Dominic Winter Book Auctions had printed books, maps, and documents. There were 476 items offered, of which 417 sold, making for an 87.6% sell-through rate. The highest price realized was for 264, an English Bible printed by Richard Grafton in 1540. Estimates were set at £2,000 to £3,000, realizing £16,000. A buy-in of note, lot 259, an illuminated portrait believed to be done by Mercati in either Lombardy or Siena around 1470. Estimates were set at £3,000 to £5,000. A lot that exceeded expectation was 270, an early printed Bible from Geneva around 1562. Estimates were set at £3,000 to £5,000, realizing £13,000. Rounding out Wednesday, Tennants Auctioneers had books, maps, and manuscripts. There were 144 items offered, of which 141 sold, making for a 97.9% sell-through rate. Lot 32 realized the highest price on the day. This volume by Carl Friedrich Gauss, published in 1801. Estimates were set at £8,000 to £12,000, realizing £16,000. A buy-in of note from the day, Lot 124, Nicholas Garland's Annabelles, published in 1985, with an introduction by Lucian Freud. Estimates were set at £800 to £1,200. Two items that exceeded expectation on the day, Lot 109, 3 manuscript journals attributed to George W. Monzi of Egypt and the Middle East, dated between 1858 and 1859. Estimates were set at £400 to £600, realizing £4,000. And this Simmelband from the 1700s, made up of 3 works connected to wine and distillation. Estimates were set at £100 to £200, realizing £3,200. Thursday, Forum Auctions online sale closed. There were 307 lots offered, of which 278 sold, making for a 90.5% sell-through rate. The highest price realized was for 68, Eric Revilius and J.M. Richards' High Street, published in 1938. Estimates were set at £1,000 to £1,500, realizing £2,800. A buy-in of note from this sale, Lot 210, The Works of King Charles the Martyr, 2 volumes in 1, published in 1662. Estimates set at £600 to £800. 2 lots that exceeded expectation, Lot 35, copper plates executed by John Buckland Wright for the Golden Cockerel Press, dated around 1938. Estimates set at £200 to £300, realizing £2,200. And this group lot connected to George Bernard Shaw, of roughly 160 volumes. Estimates set at £200 to £300, realizing £1,100. Still with Thursday, Swann Galleries had autographs and subculture. There were 276 items offered, of which 180 sold, making for a 65.2% sell-through rate. It was an eclectic sale made up of a variety of different items. The highest price realized for a lot not connected to books or ephemera was Lot 246, David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust keyhole costume designed by Yamamoto in 1973. Estimates were set at $60,000 to $90,000, realizing $60,000. The highest price realized for a book or ephemera item was Lot 34, connected to the Civil War, an autograph album containing 10 items signed or signed and inscribed by Civil War figures. Estimates were set at $10,000 to $15,000, realizing $10,000. A non-book or ephemera item of note that bought in was Lot 266, this Banksy print from 2008. Estimates were set at $70,000 to $100,000. A buy-in of note connected to books or ephemera was Lot 27, connected to the American Revolution. This autograph letter signed by John Adams when he was the U.S. Minister to the Netherlands. Estimates set here at $35,000 to $50,000. A lot connected to books and ephemera that exceeded expectation was Lot 18, this illustrated autograph note signed by Winsor McKay, dated June 22, 1908. Estimates set at $700 to $1,000, realizing $3,200. Finishing off Thursday, Quinn's Auction Galleries had spring rare books, prints, and Americana. They offered 180 items, of which 155 sold, making for an 86.1% sell-through rate. The highest price realized was for Lot 81, a signed copy of The Negro in Art, published in 1940. Estimates set at $800 to $1,200, realizing $3,000. A buy-in of note, Lot 26, 100 Scenes of Kobe by Kawanashi, published in 1962. Estimates set at $1,000 to $1,500. Lot 119 exceeded expectation. A signed copy of Bernstein and Woodward's All the President's Men, published in 1974. estimates set at $300 to $500, realizing $1,000 US. To finish off the week, Doyle New York had rare books, autographs, and maps. There were 405 items offered, of which 370 sold, making for a 91.3% sell-through rate. The highest price realized was for $305, the Latin Grammar of Toulouse-Lautrec. This was a copy of Toulouse-Lautrec's grammar that he used when studying the baccalaureate, filled with his own illustrations, executed around 1878 through to 1881. Estimates set here at $15,000 to $25,000 US, realizing $70,350 US. A buy-in of note, Lot 108, 5 volumes of Senon's Voyages of Sicily, published in 1781 through to 1786. Estimates set here at $15,000 to $25,000 US. A lot that exceeded expectation was 182, the works of Charles Dickens, finely bound and published around 1900. Estimates were set at $4,000 to $6,000 US, realizing just above $23,000 US. And finally, Lot 95, an illuminated Indian manuscript dated from around 1800. Estimates set at $300 to $500 US, realizing $10,240 US. Looking on to week 16, these are a few sales we have our eye on. Tuesday, April 15th, sees 4 sales. Ponte has books. Ader in France has the Clerge Collection Part 3 connected with photography books. Hansons has the Harry Potter auction, uncorrected proofs, first editions, signed books, and illustrations. And again with Hansons, they have their April library sale, including counterculture and underground publishing. Thursday sees 2 sales, April 17th. The first is in the U.S. PBA Galleries has fine literature, beats, and the counterculture. And in France, Pierre Berge and Associes has books, manuscripts, and autographs. Finally, Friday, April 18th, Potter & Potter Auctions has celestial and terrestrial exploration. In the news, registration is now open for the May sessions of the Collecting Insights webinar series. These sessions are broken up into 3 different pivotal moments in people's collecting practice, from emerging, expanding, through to legacy. Through these hour-long sessions, participants will examine case studies relevant to acquiring as well as deaccessioning collections. All registrants will receive a complimentary copy of Contemporary Issues in Rare Books and Manuscript Collecting. Well, that's been the week from here. What did you think of last week's results? Please be sure to put some comments below, and we'll keep the conversation going into next week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, if you want to stay in touch, be sure to subscribe to the channel as well as turn on your notifications. All for now, see you next week.